What's up, guys? My name is James with My Insurance Guy.
I'm David Caraccio with Vet Realty Group.
Awesome. So, what are we here to do today, David?
We're going to be talking about investment properties throughout San Antonio. We got a topic of the day, actually two topics of the day, and then we're going to run through a couple different properties throughout San Antonio that we've highlighted as ideal investment properties.
Awesome. So, what do we get into first?
The first topic of the day, let's talk about multifamily versus single family.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I was going to ask you. So, a couple things. I've got a couple people that have some investments and they want to start getting into investing.
Yeah.
And so, for example, like my old man, he's been kicking around the idea for quite a while. I think I've told you this, you already know this.
Yep.
So basically, there's a lot of single family homes that are out there, and then there's multifamily homes that are out there as well. And I know some investors they have questions about what they should do. Should I go and try to make money off of a couple of doors, or should I try to make money off of just one door and just get like a solid investment? So my question to you is, do you think that, what's your take on should investors be going for single family, or should they be diving into the multifamily realm? Is there a one take on it, or is there scenarios for each one?
It really depends on the investor themselves. One thing that you need to take consideration is multifamily is a lot more money down into the property, and we'll go over down payments on a different topic, a different week. But generally, multifamily, unless you're using a strategy to get down into that multifamily property, you're looking 25 to 30% down on that investment property. Mm-hmm. Whereas single family homes, it's a lot easier for entry because you can use it as your primary residence first and then turn it into investment later. Or you can put 15 to 20% down, and I recommend 20, but it's a lower entry level of getting into the property itself. Mm-hmm. And then also you're looking at costs. For a multifamily property, you're looking at $200,000 plus. You can find some at 170, 180 right now, but multifamily is usually going to be more expensive as well because you're going to have more units. Mm-hmm. Whereas single family, we're finding investments throughout the 120s and 150s all day long that are cash flow in day one you purchase it. So definitely a higher level entry into the multifamily property if you're just doing it for a pure investment and not trying to use a strategy to reduce that cost.
And I feel like the multifamilies are almost kind of harder to find, and if you do find it, if you're not a realtor or you spend time in that world, you're just way like a fish out of water when trying to price it and negotiate for it and all those types of things that come with that.
Yeah, and especially right now, San Antonio is really inflated with a lot of investors, and the multifamily properties that are cash flowing, the investors are holding, and then a lot of the properties that are coming on the market right now are either overpriced or need a lot of repairs in order to get actually to true market value. So I think right now for the multifamily market in San Antonio, it's starting to slow down in terms of the higher rate ROI or cash flow that you can find on those properties. So right now, I would recommend single family. If you're in San Antonio, I would recommend single family homes as your investment right now.
Yeah, no, I love that. Cool. Which leads us into our second topic. I kind of wanted to segue into move-in ready versus flip. So I know that there's a lot of different, like I said, there's investors, they want to get into the game, and they're thinking, I've seen people literally move into a house and live in the house, and they're going to rehab it themselves until they sell it, all the way to people just saying, I don't want to deal with any of that. I don't want to hire a contractor. I don't want to get builder's risk insurance. I don't want to, deal with all of the variables that come up when, putting in your own sinks and your own cabinetry, whether that stuff gets stolen or somebody does a bad job. There's just a lot of room for error in there. So that would be, the flip it. And then they also got the move-in ready where people are just like, I don't want to deal with any of that. So do you have a take on, move-in ready and flip and who's ready for which kind of project?
Yeah, a lot of times if I see outside investors that are not in San Antonio or haven't ever worked with their own house or are very familiar with plumbing or electrical or just doing minor things throughout the house. I know plumbing and electrical is not minor, but they don't have at least an understanding where they could talk to an electrician straight. Then I wouldn't recommend the flip for your first property. If you bought a property that's ready to move in, got some tenants in there, and as things come up, you kind of learn more about how houses are ran and how things eventually break over time and those kind of schedules that you kind of run into. Then you can start working on the flips. But for my wife and I, our first property was a move-in ready. It was 100% ready to go. I think we did landscape because we were ready to do landscape.
Cool.
But for the actual house itself, it was not a flip. It didn't need any work done. It needed to be done to it. The second property we bought, we wanted to capture the equity. So we did a lot of work ourselves. So we bought a house that was below market rent value. We put about $15,000 of work into it on one side and the exterior, and then the other side total, probably about $22,000 to $23,000 total. But now we had the equity growth in there, and that thing is cash flowing like no other.
Sweet.
It's ridiculous.
That's great. Yeah, no, I think that there's a lot to be said for that. And if you are considering something like that, please make sure you reach out to David or your favorite realtor, David, because we want to make sure that you are negotiating correctly, making sure you're appraising the house correctly, making sure that you're getting an inspector out there. All of those things are going to make sure that you don't get burned and decide that this is not for you, that you're not going to make money in something like this. So making sure that you're linking up with the right professionals will make sure that you get the most out of your experience.
Yeah,
right?
And it can cost you a lot. I've seen some people come to me after the fact, like, hey Dave, can you help me out with this property? I was trying to flip it. Like, it's a little too late now. You're already too far in. So we'll have them on the sale of that house, but unfortunately, that you really need to be able to capture money on equity. It's on the purchase of the house, not on the sell of the house. So you should be trying to buy as low as possible, find the best deals as possible. So when you do sell, you're not trying to sell at the very top of the market. You're just selling right in line with the rest of the market in your area. That's how you sell fast. So
hindsight's 20/20. It's like, I can do this. Oh, wait a minute, I'm way too far in. Let me call the pro, and then that's right. It's too late by that point.
Way past that point.
Cool. Okay. Awesome. Well, we appreciate you guys, and stay tuned for part 2 of this video because we're going to get into a couple of David's listings that he's handpicked for this week. And so, anything else you want to mention?
No, let's dive right in.
All right, awesome, cool. So, Dave, what do you got for us, man?
So first off, these properties, they're not my listings. These are on the MLS. These are actively on the market. And the reason why we're putting it on the private group is because I am spending quite some amount of time every morning diving through all these properties on the market. So we're keeping it on the private group, not because it's our pocket listing or our listings. We're just keeping it on there because we put a lot of time to find these properties and run the numbers on these properties. So if you join the group, you get able to view those. You can share it with your friends, however you want to do it. But until then, we're just going to talk about them, and then we'll give you the MLS and the street number so you can look it up on the private group.
Awesome.
You want to go over the first one?
Yeah. So it looks like you've got Candleview. What's the address on Candleview? I only got the street.
Well, we can't go over the Candleview. We'll put that up for the private group.
Sorry about that. Okay, which one did you want to get into first?
Let's do the Candleview.
Okay. Cool. So that's going to be a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. It's got a 2-car garage with square foot is about 1319, built in 2006. And the asking price is $136,000. So that's not very common.
No, it's not. So there's a lot of people are thinking that the house is on a bubble. Actually, someone posted on my YouTube account recently that they thought San Antonio was in a bubble, and in a lot of areas it might be. I think multifamily properties are on a bubble right now. But for single-family homes, there's certain pockets that are just prime time investing. And this one right here, it's a 2-car garage, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, single story, 1,300 square feet. This is the prime, cookie cutter house for tenants. Tenants love this style of house. It's good if they have a couple kids. It's good if they have in-laws coming in. It's good if they have a couple roommates. It's perfect size for a couple people in that house. And it allows them to grow into that house too. It's not like they're in a 1-bedroom, 1-bath, and then they get a girlfriend or a boyfriend, and then now they have to move to a bigger home. It's not like immediately they have to move upsize or they have a bigger house. Yeah. So this one allows your tenants to actually stay there and get a little bit less on vacancy rate. For the cash flow of this property, we ran the numbers, and it's cash flowing about $122 a month on that property, and that's after your PITI. So you paid all your expenses for your mortgage. It's accounting for 10% vacancies, 10% for repairs and capital expenses, 10% total, 10% for property management. So this property is going to be fully managed by another manager, and you're still making $122 a month on that property. It's pretty good for numbers.
Yeah, that's what I love about working with David too, because he makes sure that he runs the numbers and he adds every variable that can actually happen. He makes sure he adds it in there, so when it does happen, then you're not looking around saying, hey, where's my cash flow, because we built it in already to our pricing. So okay, sounds good. Mm-hmm. All right, you want to move into the big boy? You want to move into let's save the big boy for last. Okay, cool. So there is Lakeview Drive. Mm-hmm. So this is a 2-unit property. And 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath. each unit has a 1-car garage, and it has a fenced back. So, if you've got kids or something, that people can run around there, and you can have a nice little party back there, something like that. Is it $305,000 for the asking?
$305,000, yeah.
Oh, okay, so little bit higher than 136, but I'm sure that there's the value there, right?
It is. So this one is a brand new house. It's completely just built, has granite countertops, has nice stained concrete floors. Sometimes you'll find them with tile instead of stained concrete. It's brand new, so your expenses are gonna be a lot less for the first 4 to 5 years before you start hitting those those maintenance repairs you're normally gonna have to face with the other properties day one. So you're gonna have more hands-on. You're gonna know more about the property because you've been the sole owner from the very beginning. Typically, we like to see 1% rule. So this house is bringing in $1,300 a month per unit, so a total of $2,600, which means ideally it should be priced about $260. But because it is a brand new house, you're going to have less expenses per month, and you'll be probably saving about $260 per month over the course of the rolling year of expenses on those repairs.
Mm-hmm.
You're also going to have the builder's warranty, so you're going to have a 2-year to 10-year builder's warranty, depending on what the builder is. And it should be pretty much autopilot, other than just making sure it's rented and managed correctly. Before your operating expenses will be a lot less for this property, so the value's a little higher.
Yeah, that's the great thing about new properties as well. For the first, maybe it's a 10-year warranty, you're going to get discounts on your insurance and a lot of other home warranties and things like that, because the insurance company doesn't have to take on as much risk when the properties are newer and they have those warranties. So lots of benefits to going with a newer property than something a little bit older.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. And okay, this is the one. This is the big one. All right, hold on a second. Right on. Okay, so Commerce Street. Can't say the address, right?
No.
Do not go up and down Commerce Street looking for this property, this 10,000 square foot apartment complex. Do not do it.
And it's not in San Antonio. It's actually south of San Antonio. So if you're going to San Antonio Commerce, you'll never find it.
Right. No, that's super true.
It's just south of San Antonio.
So it is in, can I tell them? Is it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so it is in Pleasanton,
Mm-hmm.
which is southeast of San Antonio. It's probably about, looks like about an hour and a half maybe.
If you're driving like you.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
I'll get down in 35 minutes.
Insurance guy, couple tickets. No, I got those expunged. Anyways, so 12 units?
12 units total.
No, 12.
Yes.
Okay, I thought this was a typo right here. Hold on a second. 12 units.
Yep, 12 units, and one of them is actually a single-family house on there. So it's a 3-bedroom, 1-bath house.
So that's like perfect for an owner who wants to have 11 units in the apartment complex, and then 1 unit maybe they want to sit back, either charge more rent for, or if they want to live on the property and they can monitor what's going on at the property, right?
Exactly. Yeah, there's a lot of options, and you can even put the property manager, if you want like an on-site manager to mow your lawn and keep care of the property, just put them in there and say, hey, look, you get the extra 2 bedrooms for a larger family for the same rate as the 1-bedroom, 1-baths, and then you just manage the landscapes, and that's one way you can actually save some costs that way too.
That's a killer way to do it. So did you say $750 per month per unit?
Right now, the average is $750 a month per unit.
Okay.
And the 11 units, there are 1-bedroom, 1-baths. Then you have that 3-bedroom, 1-bath house on there as well.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's a beautiful lot. It has a lot of greenery, a lot of open space. Pleasanton is still building right now. There's a lot of people who work in the oil field that's there, so you have a lot of oil field workers. A lot of people who are down there that retired and moved out of San Antonio down that way. I prefer, honestly, I was in the process of doing this, and then my wife decided to do a kitchen remodel.
Right.
So we didn't have the money to do that.
That's right. Oh, that's right. I put a big star next to this one because this one's got hunting written all over it. So if your wife is like my wife, she wants to move out to she wants to move out to the country. She wants to have a little space for the kids to run around. It's a little bit slower of a pace, I would think, down there compared to San Antonio. So there's 2 birds with 1 stone. Make the wife happy, get you a hunting lease. 2 birds with 1 stone, guys. Come on now.
You got a 3-bedroom, 1-bath cabin to stay in.
We call that the dog house. So, okay, cool. Is there anything else that you wanted to talk to them about?
No, it's just really these 3 properties I've screened through. I've ran the numbers on them. I have all the Foursquare method that I have ran on there. So if you want to see exactly the numbers and how they're going, the ROIs on these properties are anywhere between 4 to 6% on these properties. And that's with 20 to 25% down, and that's being very conservative. So as the rent increases, you're definitely going to get higher ROI. And I'm also pulling, once again, 25% of your income going just to variable expenses too. So I'm very conservative when I'm running the numbers. So 4 to 6% is really for other people when they tell you the numbers are probably 8 to 10%.
that's music to my ears for sure. So okay, so once again, David Caraccio, Vet Realty Group. Vet Realty Texas. He does business in Texas. Vet Realty Group, James Cardenas with My Insurance Guy. We hope to bring you a lot more of these videos. This is just the first of many to come.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, beautiful relationship. So stick around. We're going to cut up. We're going to get a lot better at this, and we're going to involve you guys as much as we can. So thanks for being a part of it.
Perfect. See you guys next.
See you on the next one.
We'll work on the outro. See you next time.
What do you think?
Dude, I didn't even record.
That's just a